Hello everyone, welcome to another lesson on Byte Code. So in this lesson, I promise you guys that we'll be talking about HTML table. Yes, but before we start what we are intended to do in this lesson, I would like us to talk about a few things before we start. And what I would like us to talk about is HTML attribute. What at all is an HTML attribute, one may ask. An HTML attribute is a modifier that provides additional information about an element. They can also change the behavior or appearance of the element, and they can also add interactivity to the element. For example, this highlighted content over here is an example of an HTML attribute which has set our metadata here to a name port or to a name with a viewport. But we can also design our custom or code our own custom HTML attribute. How do you do that? So to begin with, let me clear this one and start. So let's create a header, and inside this header we have h1. Inside this h1 I have this. All right, so I want to increase the size of my h1. How do I get that done? So the HTML attribute for doing that is a styling attribute. So to begin, you type style, and inside the style I said I want to increase the size. So font size, let me increase this by 100 pixel. Nice. So this is a perfect example of an HTML attribute. And one advice is you don't need to be keeping all these codes in your mind. What is really necessary is get the idea of what you want to do some prototype drawings, and you can research the code on the internet. In this generation, you have AIs all over the internet. You can use an AI to give you codes on what you want to design. Just know how to apply the code and where to apply the code. Okay. So this is an example of an HTML attribute, and also this is an example of something we call an inline cascading style sheet or an inline CSS. Alright, so with this little idea in mind, let's start with our today's lesson, which is table. So, so to create a table, to create a table, we start by typing the table attribute, the table tag rather, enter. And inside our table tag, we have a table row, and inside this table row we have a table head which defines our table. So I'll be explaining every tag over here once I'm done with this practical. So I just want to type here header 1. Let's create another table header and name this header, sorry, this header 2. Nice. So after creating this, let's save and see. So we have header 1 and header 2 created over here. So let's create another table row. So in this table row we have TD. Let me create two. Yes. And we have data 1. and data 2. Have another tr and create two data 3 and data 4. Perfect. Now let's save and see what happens. Okay, so with this illustration in mind, how does creating an HTML table work? So HTML table works by creating a table row. So we create a table row, which a row is the horizontal aspect of our screen. So the horizontal aspect, this is one row. This also is another row, and this also is another row. So the intersection of this horizontal aspect of our screen creates a column, and a column is the vertical aspect of the screen. So we create rows to intersect to create a column. Notice what happens when I add another table data here, a table head. So it doesn't create my header under here or anywhere here, but then it adds it to the next. So let me repeat this about two times. Let's see. Nice. So first one is 4 and 5. Okay, so easy. It creates our data or our head in horizontal aspect, so in a row form. That's why we have our tag here to be TR, which stands for table row. So to fill this, to fill this, we create to fill this inside our second table row, which is this. We create additional 1, 2, 3 table data. So TD times 3. We have data data 2, data 3, and data 5. Sorry, it's data. I already have data 2. Data 4 here, data 3. Nice. So this is what happens. Let me rename this to be, okay, let me just copy this and paste it here. Perfect. So this is how we create a table in HTML. And you realize there are no borders surrounding this table. So how do we add a border? So we add a border by adding an attribute to our table. So table here, we have style. The border is in a style attribute. So the style attribute gives us various values options to choose from. So we have our border here. So 1px, and what color do you want? Automatically the color for the border is black. Let's see. Okay, so it doesn't work. So we have to add our color. So 1px solid black, like this. Nice. Now our border is around our table. But this is not how a table looks like. Table has divisions all over. So to do that, we copy this style and paste it in our various table row. Okay, it doesn't work. It's not working. So I think it rather has to go into, yes, so rather has to go into the data rather, not the table row. Nice. So this is our table. Also, I realized I didn't say something in the beginning of the video. To add an attribute to our HTML tag, it is mostly added to the opening tags of the element, not the closing. So we add attribute to the opening tags only, not to the closing tag. When you add to the closing tag, let's see what happens. So it doesn't work because this is a closing tag. It doesn't read this as an attribute. So when it sees the forward slash here, it means anything here is ending the tag we have opened. So it's not going to apply this attribute to it. So we only add attribute to opening tags and not closing tags. Alright, so this is just a little explanation, just as I promised in the video earlier. So I said I'll be explaining the tags for each of the elements involved in creating a table. So to begin, the first, which is the table tag. So the table tag here defines the table element. The second here, which is the table row, which is TR. So the table row here also defines our table row that we are creating. Remember I told you guys that HTML creates tables based on rows. So intersection of a row creates a column. Alright, so the next here is the table data, which is the TD, which defines the table cell. So this defines the table cell, and the TH also defines a table cell, but which type of table cell? So it defines a table header cell. So a table header cell is represented by TH. So guys, that's just the explanation to the table head, table row, table data, and the table itself. So in the next lesson, we'll be looking at how to add images and how to create a form using HTML. And also we'll be looking at some styles, designing some styles or editing our forms to look nicer. Alright, so see you in the next lesson. Bye. Alright guys, before I see you in the next lesson, I would like to leave this assignment with you so that you can practice at your various sites. So I would like you guys to create an H1, change its color to blue, change its font size to about this big, change the background color of our website to this or any color of your choice. Also change the paragraph to this. So create a paragraph, make it a bit bold, then center, place the alignment in the center. Also place the alignment of the H1 in the center page of our website. You can pause the video at this point to use this as a reference to develop your site, or you can take a screenshot and use it as a reference to develop a site. All right, see you guys in the next lesson. Bye. All right, guys, so these are my social media platforms. So on GitHub, it's Fortran Byte. On Facebook, it's Kojo Byte. And on Instagram, it's underscore Kojo Byte. So GitHub will be used to upload the files we use for our works. So I'm going to be posting all the files we use in our works. In case you want my code, want to compare my code to your code or to make corrections, I'm going to be uploading the files on GitHub. Aside that, if you want a one-on-one interaction, question and answers, or to follow up on my post, you can follow me or check my pages on Facebook and Instagram. You can also send any questions you have concerning web development to my Instagram page. Okay, see you in the next video.